I'm back. Okay. What's up, y'all? It's Aliyah.B and I'm back with another video. So today's video, as you can see, is going to be about things I've learned. And this is, let's just put it for the age of 25 things that I learned, because I know that it is a new year and I don't want to make it too yearly specific, because I think these are things that came together for me over time. So the first thing up on my list is to give yourself grace. Last year for me, I had all these goals in the beginning of the year and I just wanted to reach them super quick, like super fast. And I had to be real with myself. I was like, girl, it ain't gonna happen in one day. And I think that's the reality of things. Like, everything is not gonna happen in one day or even on your time. I feel like things are not always gonna happen on your time. And you have to be okay with that. Like, and they're not gonna be as perfect as you would want them to be. Like, you might reach this amazing goal, and in the end, it might not feel like super, super amazing because you went through all this hard work. But at the end of the day, like, you need to congratulate yourself because you still did an amazing job. The next one is that therapists need therapists too. In the year of turning 25, 26, I actually went and got a therapist. And as some know, I am a therapist myself. So I have been in therapy, but I wanted to be super intentional about getting a therapist that was long term, one, and two, that met me in my stage of life that I was in. So I am now 26, but at the time I was 25. And I wanted a therapist that was like kind of in their 30s or 40s, just so that it could be kind of fresh on their mind what they went through in their 20s. Um, I tended in the past to be, one of those people that would get therapists in the midst of the bullshit. And it's like, you can't do that. You can't wait until something crazy happens to go and get a therapist. Because you do that and then it's like, yeah, I got a therapist, but like, and it's never too late. Now, there's always it's always a great decision to get help and reach out for help, but you want to have resources in line when you're up and when you're down. So then you can reach out to those resources and say like, "Hey, like, I did a good job. I'm doing a good job," actively. It's almost like hmm, let me think of a good. I love me a metaphor, so I got like a whole bunch running through my head. But um, my mind's going blank right now, so I can't think of one. But yeah, you don't want to wait till something bad happens to get help or resources. You want to make sure that you are getting a coach throughout everything. Um, the next one is listen to your nervous system. It will not lead you astray. This is a huge one. Um, your body, whether you believe it or not, will tell you if you are in danger. It will tell you if you feel some type of way. It will tell you if things aren't right in relationships. You don't even want to have intercourse with your partners if things are not feeling adequate. And it is important to listen to these signs. Listen to these, like, listen to them all the way, because they will not lead you astray. They will be there and they will support you. And a lot of times we have these intuitions and we have these great feelings, but we ignore them, or we go to 10 different friends to confirm what we already have confirmed for ourselves. Go with your gut feeling because it will not lead you astray. Like, there are so many people that stay in situations or stay at jobs for so long and they will complain about them. And why do you think they're complaining? Because they have this feeling, they have this intuition, but they don't listen to themselves, and they stay there and they deal with bullshit when there is grass that's greener on the other side. Don't do it. Don't be one of those people, please. Breaks are essential is my next one. So I tend to be one of those people that, and this goes kind of similar to the other one of the nervous system. Like your nervous system tell you when you're tired. um, and so I have been one, like I've been guilty of working through the BS, working through the pain, working through, and one of those things is one of those things that I feel like does stem from my childhood because I'm used to, going through hardships. I'm used to going through things. And I think when you have built up this resilience, it's amazing because it lets you know that you are stronger than you think. But it is super hard to check into yourself and be like, okay, I need a break, right? Like it's hard. It's hard. And it's one of those things that sometimes you have to remind yourself of. Even with just PTO, like we are working adults now, so I know the companies may say they need you, they may act like you cannot have these days off, but baby, take that time off. Take that time off. I'm not telling you to go on a 12-month vacation because, like, we gotta pay the rent, like, we gotta pay our bills, but take the time off. Check into yourself. Even if it's daily time off, yeah, you can spend an hour just doing nothing or doing something intentional that can be considered as a break. And some people won't even do that. Take the time off. The next one is that sometimes people come in seasons. This one was really big for me. I went through a little bit of a separation, breakup, or whatever. Um, at 25, and I'm a lover. Okay, I am a lover girl. Um, and I'm a Scorpio. I don't know if y'all care about zodiacs, but I'm a Scorpio. And so I fight so hard for love, like even friendships, not even just relationships, it's friendships too. And I am sometimes inclined, that makes me inclined to want to keep people around or want to be with people. But people sometimes come in seasons. Sometimes people come into your life to teach you a lesson, and that's it. And they move on, and that's okay, right? And I've also, learned a balance with myself on that of like, sometimes you're not always gonna be wanted in everybody's lives, and that's okay. Like you're not, it's not gonna be the end of the world. There are how many people, in this world? Hold up, let me see. Hey Siri, how many people live in this world? You're just gonna embarrass me like that, Siri? Hey Siri, how many people live in the world? Yeah, give me a second. Give me a second. In the US alone, there are 331.9 million people as reported in 2021. It's other people out there. Okay, like it's gonna be people. And then that is also an opportunity to tap into your family, tap into those people who are unconditional, right? That will still be there. And even so, then, like sometimes family members, they have to go into their own little shell and their own cocoon, and that should be respected as well. But there are people out there, and it's no reason at all to harbor over those that may come in seasons. So the next one is that lack of risk breeds fears. Let me say that again. Lack of risk breeds fears. Let me get a hand clap. That one was, yeah, okay. But no, this one is extremely important. Look at me. All of them important, right? But this one I like just because I wasn't aware that I was holding myself back from living life by keeping myself in the same wave energy. I would do things and I would say like, oh yeah, I'm taking things day by day. I'm gonna go with the flow type of person. Girl, Chabu, let it come to my fears. I ain't taking risks. One of the things that was my personal fear was driving. I am guilty of waiting until I was like 22 to get a license. And I got my license, and then, maybe like 2 years later or a year later, I got my car. And I would constrict myself from driving certain places instead of just going all out there. And I've never been a type to just not like calculate things before I do them. Um, and so I think that factored into it. I was like, I'm not ready. And I would just keep telling myself and festering these thoughts that I'm not ready. I can't do it. I can't get on the highway. I'm scared. I'm scared. Um, until I did it and I was like, this is not that bad. But it was years before I actually decided to do it. So if they're, I'm not driving anxiety girlies, we out here. We out here. But there is hope and you can overcome it. I promise. But you have to put yourself in environments to thrive. You cannot allow yourself to stay in the same environment and think that you are going to get somewhere different or, grow from that. You won't. The next one is it's okay to grieve. This one is definitely sentimental to me. So I, in 1 year alone, lost two amazing, beautiful family members of mine. And when it first happened, I was just very avoidant and I was like, of course, devastated and confused. And I think I hadn't ever really been through deaths that were so close, and at the age I was able to actually conceptualize death as a thing. And it was, for me, it was confusing because I had never been at an age where I was like, dang, like this person ain't here no more. Like, when you're younger, it's like you go to a funeral and you're like, you're not really so closely, deeply connected to what's going on. And as an adult, I think it's easier not to talk about things, but it's okay to grieve, and people grieve in different ways. Like I have talked to so many different people and read so many different books about just like grieving and how it manifests in different ways for people. But for me, my grieving process um, was to really go down and think about the times that I had with the people that passed, um, and really honor that as a person of like, what, I knew this person, or maybe I didn't, or maybe I didn't know them as well as I could have, but this is my opportunity now to translate love in a different way. Um, but I needed to give myself that space. That's what I needed. I needed to give myself that space. And if I didn't, then it probably wouldn't have, I probably wouldn't have gotten to it. It's okay to grieve. Give yourself the space to not talk or sleep or talk with family. Like, give yourself that space. The next one is that love does not mean people will change. And this one, I mean, I feel like it goes without saying too much, but um just because people love you doesn't mean that they're ready to make their own changes. You have to be patient. Like, love is extremely patient. um and that's like not even just a corny saying, it's patient. People may love you or may feel like love is, there, but that doesn't necessarily warrant them to change. That's not gonna mean that they're gonna stop doing this thing that feels so good to them, that might feel a little bit more even better than love at the time. It doesn't warrant that. So when people don't, make these changes, and that can be with anything, family members, relationships. When people don't make these changes, I urge you, please don't take it personally. That is something that person has to get through on their own. And that took me forever to learn, because I'm a person, once again, at the beginning of this video, I let you guys know I am a Scorpio. I feel feelings harder than, I don't know, like I feel. And so I tend to take things super personal sometimes, and it's not always the best trait. It's not, because you leave yourself feeling inadequate, and that's not a good way for anybody to feel, right? Especially when this is something that this person going through. Like, why am I now feeling some type of way about something that somebody else that is going through? Nah, not around here, partner. Not around here. The next one is pour into yourself first. I am so happy to share this one. So last year, I had noticed that I would just get up and I would go straight into like either working, or I would eat, and it wouldn't even be like an intentional breakfast. It would be like, all right, I'm gonna eat some oatmeal. Okay, I'm gonna eat this little apple, or I won't eat at all. And I would go through my day and I would be tired, and I wouldn't have enjoyable wake up mornings. I would just get to whatever I had to do, and it made me feel drained until I started a morning routine. And me, I love music. I recently got into plants. I love plants now. Shout out to my plants. When I was being a little dramatic, like, girl, I ain't kill you. I am not a murderer, okay? But yeah, like, I love all of those things. And I love to read and write. And so my mornings consisted of me just playing a song that I enjoy. Honestly, probably for like half of the year, it was Miracle by Jonathan McReynolds and Mally Music. That song, oh my goodness. What's the use of the sea? That's what you are. You're a miracle. Yeah, so I would play my music, and it would just be like, oh, it would be something to look forward to when waking up. And then I would go and I would water my plants, and I would talk to them, and I would sing to them. I would read my Bible. Not every morning, some mornings, let me be accountable. And then I would just, eat a nice breakfast that was filling and actually felt good, that was creative. Instead of just like, oh yeah, I'm just about to eat an apple and I'm gonna be good. Like, no, fill yourself up, pour into yourself first. And that is more of physical things that I did, but I also put myself in check in that morning, and I would ask myself questions like, what do I need today? What am I lacking? Have I slept enough? Do I need to sleep more? What do I need? And I feel like pouring into yourself daily, because I am a therapist, and so I pour into a lot of people throughout the day. But being able to tap into myself, being able to like checking with myself first, it made me all that much stronger for other people. And that feels good. Like, it feels good to know that you are at that 100% that you need instead of starting off on 20%. That's not a good feeling. So yeah, pour into yourself first. And it doesn't have to be, because mine was what, 3 things that I was doing. It doesn't have to be a elaborate, like, super complex routine. It can be something so simple, or just a simple affirmation or question. I actually recently got an affirmation book for Christmas, and when I tell you I love that book, hold on y'all, hold on, let me actually go get it. I found it. So the affirmation is called Affirmations for Black Women, a Journal. 100 positive messages and prompts to affirm self-worth, empower your spirit, and attract success. And the author is Oludara Adeyo. And if I butchered that, I apologize. I'm so sorry. But she's also the author of A Self-Care for Black Women. And this is it. And like, thank you to my beautiful cousin who got me this book. But it's daily affirmations that you can say to yourself and that you can just write down intentionally to get your day started. It's just things like that, resources that are out there that are super helpful to make sure that you're starting off on 100%. And so that leads me to my next, well, final and last one is progress over perfection. Give yourself credit. Give yourself credit. If you are waiting on other people to give you credit, it is going to be a long journey. Shout out to my friend Joshua, who actually reminded me of this the other day. Is even as just a content creator, you're not always gonna get that like, you're not always gonna get that follow, you might not always have everybody hear your story, but there are people that are watching, and you have to be happy with the work that you're doing. You have to be invested in the work that you're doing and get some type of fulfillment out of it. Because if you're not doing it, if you're not in this game to do things for your own benefit and you're doing it to wait on someone else, it's never gonna feel good. You're gonna be in a long battle. And so count your losses and look into them as, things to consider, but also count your progress. Like, you are getting somewhere. I don't care if you're putting in work, you are getting somewhere. So continue to put that work in and continue to acknowledge and embrace that you are doing a good job, because sometimes people won't do it. And sometimes you're going to continue to wait on people to give you these graces, and they're not gonna come through. So with that being said, give yourself grace. Like I said, that was the first one I started with, and I ended with the progress over perfection, because you have to believe in yourself, and you have to be the driver that keeps everything going. So whether you are a content creator, a teacher, a lover, a athlete, like, keep going and give yourself those credits, because nobody else is going to every single time. But that's all I got, guys. I hope this message has touched somebody or will touch somebody in the future. If it didn't touch you, like, I hope you can send it to somebody else and maybe it'll help them. All of these things are personal, right? And so my journey or things that work for me may not always work for other people. And I'm very transparent in that. Like, I'm not like everybody else, and I don't want to be, but I do know that I grow and I learn, and I'm here just like everybody else is. And so I hope that you can take something from it, whether or not be everything, but you can take something. If you liked it, you know, definitely leave comments, like, subscribe, all of that. It's your girl Aliyah.B, and I'm out. Bye.